If someone were to ask you what was your favorite Disney Renaissance movie, most would pick The Lion King. And if someone were to ask you what's your favorite Disney sequel, most would pick Frozen 2. But there is one Disney sequel out there that is both uh, awesome sequel and Disney Renaissance movie all in one, which nobody talks about anymore. What is that, you may ask? Get comfortable because I'm about to talk about it. The Rescuers Down Under, directed by Mike Gabriel and Hendon Bassoy, and is the 29th Disney animated classic overall, as well as the second movie of the Disney Renaissance and the 1990 sequel to Disney's 1977 Gemma, The Rescuers, as well as the first ever Disney sequel to be made. Yeah, literally no Disney sequel existed before this one. Rescuers Down Under tells the story taking place literally in Down Under, Australia itself, where and after the events of the first Rescuers, where Cody, a young animal loving boy, after he rescues Marahute, the great golden eagle, from a poacher's trap and is captured by uh, ruthless poacher McLeach and his pet monitor lizard Joanna, and until he reveals to McLeach the location of Marahute and her eggs. So it's up to the finest members of the Rescue Aid Society on their second mission, Miss Bianca and Bernard. And Bernard is plucking up the courage to propose to Bianca this time. This is the least talked about and most forgotten Disney Renaissance movie, sadly, as at the time it did not bring in the money like the first Rescuers did, and after the box office bomb, Disney were faster to dismiss it and want nothing more to do with it. Thus, part of the reason why we never received a Rescuers 3. But I am overjoyed to say this movie has gained, a enormous cult following since its release, and highly regarded as one of Disney's most underrated features. Period. And this is the more popular of the two Rescuers movie. I've seen the majority favor Down Under over the first film, and I can see why. I mean, Rescuers Down Under is easily the most underrated Disney Renaissance movie. And as far as Disney sequels go, it soars freaking high. And This is a peak Disney sequel in my top three, no question. I mean, this is not quite Frozen 2. Frozen 2 is still the best, but this is still the Frozen 2 of the Rescuers. I mean, this may not have the uh, heart of the first Rescuers, and it may not uh, execute his narrative as well as the first Rescuers, nor does it have any songs like its predecessor. But that said, this is how you do a exhilarating action adventure movie, and thank heavens. And this was one of the first animated blockbusters to take place in Australia. I mean, Disney saw the success and growing appeal of Crocodile Dundee, so that gave them inspiration. They even took a 6-week trip to Australia to study the Australian landscape and wildlife for the movie, and I mean, any Australian who watches this movie will be proud big time. Heck, some of my favorite actors and stars of all time are Aussies, particularly Margot Robbie and Nicole Kidman. And Sam Worthington, the star of the Avatar movies, is an Aussie himself. So how boring would a Rescuers sequel have been if it just took place in the US like the first one? This is a sequel that goes to, well, a more, epic location for sure. And its opening scene, my god, is easily my favorite part and one of the top tier Disney opening sequences. You know, it's literally uh, uh, like Circle of Life level good. And I had literal goosebumps after I saw this opening. Like, where the camera zooms in on the insects of the Australian wilderness, and then it's just accelerates towards Cody's house, and the music kicks in. And this soundtrack needs no songs because it is still such a amazing score, and it immediately sets the tone that this is not going to be anything like the first Rescuers. No, this is going to be more of an action movie. When Cody frees Marahute from her trap, and she just spreads her wings out, and Cody is seemingly falling to his death until he is rescued by the Great Bird. And uh, she takes him on a unforgettable flight that is the sequence from this movie you will remember most of all. Like, how has Disney not made the flight of Marahute a theme park ride at Disneyland? I would pay to go on that at Disneyland more than once. And yeah, that opening alone has some of the most groundbreaking visuals in any Disney animated movie. Yeah, that's one thing this movie does have over the first film. The animation clearly looks better. Well, and it was made at a time when CGI was beginning to blend with 2D. So when Wilbur is flying Bianca and Bernard out of New York and into Sydney, and for McLeach's vehicle. And as for Bianca and Bernard in this movie, they are back and just as lovable. And this is the last time we ever saw these two courageous mice on the big screen, and Bianca, I gotta say, she is uh, is even prettier in this movie than she was in the first, especially when she and Bernard are at the restaurant, and Bernard's storyline throughout this movie uh, is beyond sweet when he's constantly attempting to propose to Bianca, but things keep getting in the way. Similar to how Kristoff attempted to propose to Anna in Frozen 2, but kept failing. And other than the chairman of a rescue aid society who sends Bianca and Bernard on their second mission, other than that, no other characters from the first movie return. All the others are brand new. There's no Orville in this movie, as tragically his voice actor passed away before Rescuers Down Under went into production. Uh, so we have Wilbur, Orville's brother, and Bianca and Bernard's transporter Albatross Air in this film, and I kind of like Wilbur a little better than Orville. He's voiced by the wonderful John Candy from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And it's so tragic that both Orville and Wilbur's voice actors are no longer with us. And Also Jake, their Australian guide. I mean, he is literally the Crocodile Dundee of the Rescuers, and Bernard's biggest rival for Bianca's affections. And He's kind of in a way the Buck Wild of the Rescuers at the same time, but nowhere near as annoying as Buck. And as for our lead child character Cody, I mean, yeah, I personally like Penny a little better, but Cody would make a great animal rights activist. and he, like Penny, is the only human in the movie that can physically talk and interact with the animals. Though I do still uh, favor Penny because, well, Penny kind of had it harder than Cody did. At least Cody still has his mum to go back to at the end, whereas Penny had nobody. She could only go back to the orphanage until she got an adoptive family, and plus Bianca and Bernard's bond with Cody is not nearly as strong as their bond with Penny because they had more scenes with Penny than they did with Cody. And, the Australian critters that are prisoners of McLeach. I mean, they are all adorable, particularly the frilled lizard, Frank, who is just determined to break out. But it sucks that we get no closure with them and never see them get free in the third act. Australia is amazingly brought to life here, and you feel the scale of it. So particularly when it's told through uh, a mouse's point of view, like our tiny mice here, they they it's as if they've landed on Mars or something. They feel as big as a speck of dust in this well, seemingly never-ending landscape. But they are not the funniest part of the film. The strongest humor comes from the scenes where Wilbur accidentally damages his back while landing and is forced to stay in mice hospital to get his back repaired. So even though Wilbur doesn't go on the full rescue mission with Bianca, Bernard, and Jake, he is still given plenty to do with his own storyline. Something I wish Orville had in the first film. But my favourite character in this movie is, well, the Queen of Eagles herself, Marahute, and you know what? It makes sense that we have a golden eagle in this movie as large as a pterodactyl because back in ancient Australia there were eagles of that size, and Marahute and Cody have such uh, a beautiful bond, and both relate to one another strongly because Marahute lost her mate to McLeach, the poacher, and she's all her eggs have got, and Cody can relate because he doesn't have a father either. And to say the animation for Marahute is magnificent doesn't even cover it. Like, and the animators even realized if you can draw human fingers, you can draw bird wings. And as for our villains, McLeach, I mean, this poacher makes Clayton from Tarzan look like a pussy. My God, he is vile. The way that he holds a kid prisoner to catch well, a innocent golden eagle and her eggs, and the way he treats animals. I mean, and he's highly cunning and even tricks Cody into bringing Marahute to him, and his truck. I mean, that is monstrously terrifying. Though Joanna is not half as evil as McLeach. This monitor lizard, she's a victim of abuse herself because even though McLeach, well, doesn't keep her in a cage like the other animals he's caught, he just uses her to be his bloodhound. He still, well, abuses the shit out of her. So in a way, you feel happy for Joanna when she finally escapes McLeach, waves goodbye to him as he plummets to his death down the waterfall in the finale. And this movie is more perfectly paced than its predecessor. I mean, the first Rescuers, they took a little time to get the ball rolling to Devil's Bayou because we had to sit for a Penny flashback with Rufus the cat. Whereas there are no fillery scenes before the uh, journey to Australia to get Cody. I mean, it's immediately cuts to the chase, and some of the action scenes here with Jake, rescuing Bianca and Bernard from a snake, are brave little mice attempting to stay on the rotating wheels of McLeach's monster of a vehicle, to Bernard being the real hero of the day and rescuing Jake, Bianca, and Cody, and defeating Joanna and McLeach all himself. Though I do think the ending of the first Rescuers is done way better, because at the end of that movie we got closure. As Rescuers Down Under feels like it cuts off too abruptly. We don't see, Cody reunite with his mother. We never see Marahute reunite with her eggs, and we don't see Bianca and Bernard's wedding. It just ends with Marahute flying them off into the distance, and Marahute's eggs hatching while Wilbur has been sitting on them. And that's a good point. Did Wilbur ever get home? But even with its minor nitpicks, with its narrative, Rescuers Down Under is still a damn good sequel, and deserves to be talked about infinitely more, and is on par with the first Rescuers in every sense.
I give The Rescuers Down Under 5 stars out of 5. Best movie ever.
Special thanks to Kevita55 for these awesome Rescuers requests, and I've literally just got one more Disney Renaissance movie to go, one more, and that's the one that's considered the weakest by far, Pocahontas. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on Rescuers Down Under? Are you somebody that puts it above the first Rescuers, or was the first Rescuers more for you? I think it's a half and half here. Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you next time when I have videos coming about my thoughts on James Gunn rebooting the DCU, my reviews of Knives Out, Glass Onion, and Del Toro's Pinocchio. And I may even talk about the show Teen Wolf, as the Teen Wolf movie is released very soon. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.